Hey, Reliability Gang, it's Brendon Russ, and this is Reliability Radio, a JLL production and ReliabilityWeb.com media brand. Here we are in beautiful South San Francisco this week for the TRC, the Reliability Conference. We're having a bunch of sessions here. We're not talking about 1 hour sessions. We have a lot of workshops going all throughout 2 full days here at TRC. We have one of those gentlemen here with us today that was leading one of these sessions. We have Joe Lee with us. How you doing, Joe?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing well, yes.
So tell the listeners a little about yourself and the company you represent.
Sure. I represent a company called Aidentyx. I am responsible for product marketing and application for the company, and we are located. Headquarters is located in Austin, Texas, but we have our development and data science team here locally in San Jose.
So what is the primary objective of Aidentyx?
Good question. We are a data analytics company. So we bring in data, whether it's machine data, sensor data, any type of data, and we analyze it, provide you with insights and whatnot. But more importantly is that we utilize AI as our engine to do the analytics. Yes.
I feel like that term gets played out a lot lately. AI.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like one of those things, well, we think we skinned our knee. What are we going to do? We're going to walk up like the man and just slap AI on it and fix the problem.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about your session this morning, a nice 3-hour long session to open the day.
So we felt the same way, and that is kind of the basis of my session is, hey, this AI term is used so generically, right? Everybody's just throwing this term around and nobody really understand exactly what it practically does for you, right, to solve a problem. That's what my session is kind of geared towards, explaining the AI technology in simple terms and then giving practical examples of how AI can help you solve various problems in maintenance and reliability in this case. Yes.
So your company does this across a lot of different industries, not just maintenance and reliability.
Right.
What's one of the things you're seeing in this industry in maintenance reliability? So like when somebody in that expo hall just walking around, what is something that you see is more indicative of maintenance reliability that isn't a problem somewhere else?
Well, so my background is industrial automation. So I grew up in manufacturing, but more on the control side, right? What I see, so for the controls guys, it's all about production, right? Am I able to make something and make something fast with high quality? Well, maintenance and reliability is very different, right? They don't measure themselves with production quality data, but their only focus and a very important one is uptime, right? Is hey, I want to help this control engineer run this machine nonstop without any stoppages, right? And what I see the challenge for the reliability guys is that an organization typically are more willing to invest in making stuff and less in preventing stuff, and I think that's where I see the difference. I don't know if I answer your question.
So what you're saying, it makes perfect sense to us that have been in this world for forever, where maintenance and reliability is still looked at a cost instead of something that ensures production.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do you think that we can, using what you do at Aidentyx, is that something where we can help raise the profile of maintenance and reliability and say, hey, I know that you really want to focus on your production numbers, right? The old school OEE approach, production availability and quality. Well, the stuff that we do here in reliability supports it. Let me show you how. Is that something that we can do? Yeah.
So we have kind of turned a lot of our use cases into ROI use cases, not just how it help you do something better, but how it at the end saves you time and money too, right? So and I think a lot of that is where AI come into play as well, especially now with the newer generation of AI, generative AI agents and whatnot, where you can now automate tasks. You can do things automatically, add workflow efficiency into process using AI. That's when I think cost, benefits, and money ROI is becoming more apparent as a result of these kind of solutions. Yeah.
So is that met with resistance when you go into some of these companies that prospective clients, and you try to have that conversation, and what you see is a bunch of guys rolling their eyes in the back of the head. Oh boy, here we go. They're using the magical word, 2 letters, AI,
Yeah.
right? How do you get past that?
Yeah. So, well, that is part of the reason for my session, because I'm trying to demystify some of the AI eye rolling, right, with practical use cases. The other thing is AI is actually becoming so prevalent, even in our everyday life, that I think the benefits of it is a little bit more well known to people.
I don't think the technology or the thought of the technology is as scary anymore.
Exactly. Right.
I do think, in my experience, that people are still leery of understanding how. Right. So, and you said you have these use cases. Can you take us a minute and kind of like walk me through a full kind of like day in the life of Joe, where you got to break down the resistance to that in like a practical example for a reliability guy? Like, okay, I can get my head around that.
Sure. Yeah. So one of the demos that I did in my session was, hey, when a reliability engineer or maintenance engineer get an alarm from a system because it detected a potential failure, traditionally the steps that he had to take to get to fixing the problem, right? For example, traditionally, I get the alarm, right? And then I probably go visually inspect it. And then I try to look at the data, to look back at the data to try to determine what the root cause is. Once we determine the root cause, then now I got to generate a work order, right? And making sure the parts are ready and people are available and whatnot. All that was done, or not was, but is still being done manually in most cases, right? And from what we call mean time to repair, right? From when you get the alert to when you actually repair the product, could be days, could be weeks, right? Depending on the availability of the spare part. But with AI, and specifically the demo that I did, I took the audience from an alert to a single click where it took me to an application where I saw why it alarmed, to clicking another little AI button that's actually trying to determine root cause for you based on information that it has. And when I say information, this is knowledge that we have trained AI with. It could be user manuals, it could be historical repair logs, it could be comments from your maintenance crew. All that information is put into what we call knowledge base. And AI would automatically go in there based on the alert that it got, try to determine if we have seen this problem before. And if we have, it would come back with a recommendation on how to fix it, right? The next step, which is fixing it, with the knowledge base and all the user manuals and knowledge that you populated in the knowledge base, the system would automatically go and get the maintenance procedure, as well as all the information that or parts lists or whatever that you would need to repair the problem, and present that to you. And of course, the last step would be, hey, let's start in a work order, and with nothing but maybe a quick, hey, create a work order for this failure into a chat bot. The work order is automatically created. So from the days or weeks long of mean time to repair, I was able to demo what I just talked about in, 4 clicks and a couple of queries, right? And all that was done in like 5 minutes, right?
So that sounds awesome, right? To me, that's where we all want to go.
Sure.
So how do you make sure that in order for that to function, a lot of that information has to be built in, right? We can't have it in good old Uncle Joe's pocket notepad that he walks around. How do you deal with that when you walk into that where it's all tacit, it's all in people's heads? How do you feel you have to go to transform that to make it more implicit in a system so that the AI can pull out of it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. the human aspect is never pulled from the loop. In fact, that was one of the main point I made in my session is the human in the loop thing is still very relevant in 2026, right? At this point, AI can do a bunch of stuff for us, but at the end, you still need that domain expert to validate, to verify,
to have context,
right? Exactly, before you submit. Now, any input from this domain expert into the system would become knowledge that AI will take advantage of in the future. But at this point, that knowledge is still very important from a human standpoint.
So listen out there for all you people that are scared that AI is just going to go and take it over like Skynet. Joe's here to tell you that's not the case.
Not yet. Not yet.
All right. So as we start to bring this episode of Reliability Radio to a close, do you have any last minute tidbits or pearls of wisdom for the audience?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it words of wisdom, but for those who are not familiar with AI, after talking with a bunch of people today, I realized, a lot of them are already starting their journey into getting a taste of AI, right, in various forms and in their organization. But for those who still haven't or really am interested in doing so, my recommendation is, hey, start small, right? Don't take a big giant bite. Start small. Realize the value of what it can give you, and then roll out, right, and then expand. I think this approach is going to work for everybody, right? Especially if you're new to the technology.
So eat that elephant one bite at a time.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today, Joe.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for the time. Yeah.
Excellent. And for those of you out there coming to these conferences, you get to meet people like Joe, sit through their sessions. He had a 3-hour session this morning, so you had a full opportunity to go through his entire example that he just explained here and ask him questions afterwards. So all the more reason to come. So thank you all out there for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Reliability Radio.